What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Joint Effort with JR and Hayden.
And Will Simmons as our guest speaker.
Is guesting today.
What?
He is one of our coworkers, one of our friends. He recently started 6 months ago, I want to say?
4 months?
4 months. Not even 6 months.
So he's real young.
Yeah, real young in the business at least.
What's the topic of today that we're going to talk about, though?
Reincarnation and the different religions, states,
what
the different
happens.
ideas, what happens, what you think happens, and stuff like that. Because Will's had some outer body experiences, right?
Yeah. Outer bodies? Yes. For real?
Yeah.
What does that mean? What does outer body mean?
Explain what I said.
Well, a lot of it's the psychedelics. I guess relate to with that being out of our body and give us some kind of insight on what is out there.
So what all psychedelics have you tried?
LSD, lots of that, mushrooms.
Really? Okay.
Some other herbal type stuff. It's,
really?
Like natural.
That's awesome. Okay. What kind of experiences have you had? What do you mean by outer body?
Well, I would say outer body, but yes, imagination, going wild. Just,
really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
how often do you do it? Just a couple times a year?
Now, not very often.
Once a year.
Once a year.
In his younger days, before he had the salt and pepper.
It gives you just that feeling of being connected, and
it's literally euphoric. There's a point where you feel like every emotion, or you'll just feel so happy or so sad.
Really?
There's a
deep
point.
Connection with the world.
Whenever I've only done it one time, I've done acid.
See, I haven't even done it.
But how it felt, it was just you felt every emotion literally, and they say
every song, huh?
Yeah, you'll see stuff people TV shows try to make it into this big gesture of oh my gosh, there's a snake there, and it's not a snake.
Right.
It's literally you'll see a stick. You'll see a stick, and you'll be like, "Is that stick moving?" But you'll know it's still a stick.
Well, it's one of those things. I had it happen last night. I looked at a concrete deal, and I thought it was an alligator. It's not I thought legitimate it was an alligator. Just when I glanced, I was like, "What the fuck?"
That's not really.
But then I looked again.
Yeah, that's not really what it's about.
It's just the lines move, the colors fade.
Yeah, you can use it as a medicine, though. I mean, if they legalize weed as a medicine.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Psychedelics in Oakland are legal, Oakland, California, and other places.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
You can do acid, shrooms,
ayahuasca.
Now, obviously,
Really?
Ayahuasca.
Oh, ayahuasca. Gotcha.
Obviously, a certain amount. Same thing with marijuana. If you get caught with more than X amount,
right?
Yeah,
obviously. Which that's with anything. Everything's in moderation. I mean, no matter what you do.
If I do acid again, I mean, it'll probably be 6 months to a year. I'm not going to try to do it back to back.
And that's the thing, is anything in moderation, water can kill you. You know what I mean? If you drink too much water, it can kill you.
It's about 12 hours acid. What is shrooms? 5, 6?
Yeah, it's pretty shorter, but you can do pretty intense amount.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about it the other day. DMT, that's 12 minutes or something crazy. 8 minutes.
Yeah, it's hardly any kind of
That's
time.
crazy, but it's intense. It's all in one side.
I've never done that.
No,
I had another friend, Will, that's done DMT and different stuff. But yeah. So.
That's just a super intense 12 minutes, I'm sure.
I'm sure, yeah. So with the outer body experiences that you felt, and what are your beliefs in the reincarnation? What's your thought on it?
In some of my experiences I've had, I felt like I communicate telepathically sometimes.
Telepathically?
No, after hindsight, obviously I wasn't.
But
it still gave me this kind of feeling that I feel like there's an outer
So you think we could communicate telepathically?
So I feel like after the afterlife, essentially, we're one whole energy.
Okay.
And we all go to that infinite energy. As far as being another body in the afterlife or something like that, I believe it's just a.
So you think your soul just gets put into a collective consciousness?
Exactly.
So it's just nothing? Or what do you mean?
That's not nothing. It's a whole. It's all one thing.
So he thinks that we all can't basically imagine a big cloud.
Okay.
And he thinks that we're all ripped, we're all a piece ripped off of this cloud, and that's our body. And then that cloud gets put into let's say a pill bottle, or some kind of jar, and that jar is your body, but the cloud that is your soul belongs to the collective cloud.
Yes,
and that's how he thinks. I mean, I've done a lot of looking into this kind of stuff, because it really is fascinating. But you would say, do you think that you've learned from if you are a part of this cloud, and then whenever you die, the lid gets off the cloud and the cloud goes back up.
Yep.
Right?
Exactly.
So, do you think that you are the same as everybody? Like, do you think we all have learned experiences, like deja vu? Like, that's what a lot of people think deja vu is.
Yeah.
Is that it's a shared experience that maybe Hayden's been through, and that I just, like, for some reason, my brain is on the same wavelength, and I feel like I've done this before. Or maybe you have
deja vu that could be a sign of, like, that it's all a simulation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So his idea on like reincarnation, he believes in God.
I do. Let me get this straight. I do 100% believe in God, and I do think there's a good place. I do. Kind of like the Hindus think, what is it, Narnia or some shit?
Yeah. Nirvana.
Yeah. What I think it's a collective of all of that stuff. So I definitely think I believe in God, but I think we didn't start with like Adam and Eve, right? I think we started with I think it was his idea to have us evolve. I really do. I know.
I would
weird.
agree. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think that we started with Adam and Eve, but they were like the first conscious humans.
Right?
You know what I mean?
Right.
So like, there's obviously like I don't know how many links between the ape and the human, but throughout there, it's just evolution, right? I don't know where the beginning is or where the end is.
Right.
But it's just I think that's a thing, the evolution. But kind of back to
the reincarnation.
Yeah, the collective consciousness.
Yeah. So the same with the jellyfish. You know, it's a certain amount of that energy put into a jar on Earth, and then at some point when it dies, it opens back up. So like reincarnation, I don't believe it's. One day you wake up and you're a hamster.
You think that you die, you go back up to the cloud. Let's just keep using the cloud.
Like the DNA is also what kind of pulls it down. That's like the energy that.
So do you think that so you go back into the collective consciousness of the cloud when you die, the good energy.
Okay.
Do you think that you can get pulled apart and get back into a body?
Yes.
So you think it's possible? You think that you can live more than once?
Yes.
You think everybody?
But do you think
so? Like John Bean, have you ever seen Being John Malkovich? So in this movie, it's basically you wake up. You go to this tunnel, and it's all these persons. You're someone else's brain in the back of it.
Right.
So when that body was actually being used for basically all these old people are going to go into this tunnel, and all these old people will be in the back of this person's head, manipulating how the body would actually work. That's kind of the idea.
Okay.
So that's kind
of like the
idea.
brain in the jar theory.
Yes.
Have you heard of that theory?
I haven't heard of that.
There's multiple personalities.
Basically, like your brain is in a jar, and then somebody's like manipulating, like somebody's controlling it, like over your body, and like we're not controlled by ourselves, somebody else is.
Yeah.
Controlling our
brain. The brain is a weird thing.
It is.
It is weird.
So
they can't measure consciousness.
It's just there. It's just, we just know it. Like it's just
some
a fact.
people believe in that there's nothing. That's crazy as fuck. I mean,
so there's a lot of different theories on the afterlife. Whether it's going back to collective consciousness and being put back into another body, or whether it's going to heaven or hell.
Well, there's always a what if. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's always a what if, and then there are the people that think that nothing happens. I'm a pretty firm believer that the world is too like exact, like as far as we're right in the perfect spot to be created for life, we're right in the perfect spot to be able to have oxygen.
Right.
That there has to be something in charge, not really like a god. But not like.
But
I don't think it's like the same as like you do right or wrong, and then.
Well, the Hindus, we were talking about the other day, the Hindus believe that if you don't get a perfect life, if they don't live a perfect life, then they have to restart. But if they do...
you get back to the point, like, if you were bad in life, you're going to be a cockroach. If you were good in life, you might be born as a koala or something, like a level up, right? And I don't know about that because I think that there are good guidelines for what's good and bad. Obviously, like that stabbing Will, that's a bad idea.
That's a bad
thing to do. But like not necessarily like me saying, hey, like this morning I picked Will up and I was like, hey man, you want
some energy drink?
You want a coffee? You want an energy drink, bro? Because I just woke him up basically.
Right.
And he was like, yeah man, give me a coffee. Like is that a good act? Like would you say that's a good thing to do? Would you say that's a good thing to do?
Not to me.
Okay, would you say that's a good thing to do?
That's a good thing to do. Yeah.
But see the why do you say it's a bad thing?
Well, because my whole outlook on life is is I kind of think that you do have to live as perfect as you can.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm so hard on myself, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you can control what you put in your body, you can control anything else. Because I think that's the hardest part. How many people struggle with that?
I'd say everyone, yeah.
Everybody.
Absolutely.
And I think if you can handle that, you can handle a lot of other...
So that's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
Like,
but you don't know what's right and wrong.
And another thing that could be construed as a bad thing is like, yeah, the Monster's bad for your health. It's not good.
Right. People think caffeine is bad.
So, you might think it's good, but you're really doing a bad thing. So there's a show that, like, you might have seen. It's called The Good Place.
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah.
So,
I've seen it.
Like, it's pretty good. So it's...
Afterlife?
It's really...
Yeah, it's about the afterlife.
Really,
and what happens is they basically get tricked into thinking that they're in heaven, but they're really in hell.
Well, the bad place.
The bad place. And then at, like, one point, they're like...
They're trying to make them live, like, the
absolute best life at the point that I'm talking about.
Okay.
But they don't know how, because just because you buy a tomato at the grocery store, like, it could have been farmed by an 11-year-old child that gets beat every day by his dad that owns the farm. Like,
exactly.
And you're contributing to the wealth of that guy that's beating his child.
Exactly.
Like, there's no way that you know, like, all the effects and decisions that went into one can of energy.
Exactly.
So you don't know if this is good or bad necessarily. Like, yeah, it's a good thing to be like, hey, man, you want to drink on me. But it's also a bad thing because I'm contributing to diabetes because it's really sugary, really bad. And
so what's crazy about that show that we were just talking about, The Good Place, when she figures out that she's actually in the bad place, he just restarts it.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. It's like, what if we do just erase and restart?
So I kind of had an experience, not while I was on acid, but an experience not too long ago. I've told you about this experience where somebody handed me something and I was looking at it and it wasn't how I remembered it.
Yeah. You told me this.
And because for the longest time, the thing, it was like this big.
Just tell me what it is.
It's a bowl for a bong. It had like a knob and like a ridge. And I was like, this thing was smooth whenever we got it. And my girlfriend and my cousin and my friends were all like, no, bro, it's always been like that. And I'm like, no, it hasn't. This was a smooth bowl. I promise.
He said, he swears.
I swear on everything. And then I was looking at the pictures that they would show me of of us hitting it, and sure enough, it had the knob. And I'm like, bro, there's no way. And because I've had it for like a year.
It's Mandela effect.
The Mandela effect. Yes.
What is
I woke up. This is what it is. This is what I think it is.
Parallel universe.
Yes, I think I woke up.
Mandela effect.
So I was living in this timeline, right? Going forward.
Oh my god, bro.
Going forward. Because that's the only way time can move. Listen, this is about to get trippy. So I'm moving forward into this timeline.
Okay.
And then eventually it breaks apart.
On accident, you think?
On accident. I could have died in that part. I don't know. But this is a theory that I have that I'm not really 100% like
no,
this is it, bro. This is more of like just like, oh my gosh, like a different perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, anyways. So it breaks apart at this one point, whether I die or whether it just happens, right? There's a fracture in the timeline.
Yep.
And what happens is I look at the ball and I'm like, this isn't how it is. And I guess my consciousness might have moved to one point, like an alternate reality. And it's pretty crazy. Like, that's the first time I've ever noticed something like you say the Mandela effect, like the Berenstain Bears, like just the whole Mandela thing. Like, there's a lot of different things that you look back and you're like, damn, that's different. There's like Star Wars. There's a bunch of different. Like, if you Google Mandela effect, it'll fuck you up.
Really?
Yeah. I don't believe in it, but it is pretty interesting.
It's trippy.
You don't believe in it?
No.
Okay.
The theory is that the Large Hadron Collider has ripped a seam in string theory, like in time, and opened up a parallel universe and created these situations where things have changed. And it's mostly what they look up is like famous stuff, like and it's like Forrest Gump when he says a phrase, it sounds different.
And it's different, or it's like Luke, I am your father.
It's off by like a word.
Yeah, Luke, I am your father. He doesn't say that.
Yeah, R2D2.
Really?
Yeah. His gold, R2. And he had a silver leg. Gold with a silver leg, but when you think of it, he doesn't have that leg.
We've talked about this a little bit. Like, time can only move forward. I don't think you can move backwards in time. That's my thought.
Do you think you can time travel backwards though?
No.
To see things that happen?
No.
Why?
The closest thing to time travel you can do is your memory.
But listen, you don't think there's any way to see what happened in the past?
No.
Okay.
Just like with time, right?
But
how do we age? Can you reverse your age?
No.
You can't reverse your age. You're only moving forward. You're aging.
Okay.
Like that. And that's really the only thing of time that we know is like things age, right? Things get old. Carbon data. If you were to fucking take this can, burn it, and measure the carbon age, you'd probably pull up 2018. Let's just say 2018.
Uh-huh.
You can't go back in time to try to unwind. You can't unbreak glass.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You can't.
That's a good.
Make smoke a solid again.
Yeah.
You can't rewind.
No.
I get that. That makes more sense now.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as moving forward, you think we can move forward?
Yeah, I think we can fast forward.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. How do you mean?
What do you mean? I don't know how the technology would work.
Right. You have to be next to a giant.
Hand me the screwdriver.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, exactly.
Do you think it's something that we have to like implant?
Implant into our bodies?
Yeah.
No, I think it'd be like a machine.
A machine that you
Yeah,
get in
like a microwave. A big microwave, probably.
Just nuke us.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like, all right.
So
2022.
the only theory that I have on like time traveling like backwards would be like you see the cartoons or like the movies where they have like a helmet where they can show their memories. And I think that would be the closest thing to rewinding time for yourself, just for your like for your like thoughts,
right.
Versus
Total recall.
Yeah, like total recall. But at a certain point, the memory isn't right. Like you remember things wrong.
Yep.
It's not always 100%.
No, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. So you'll remember.
I have the worst memory.
Yeah. So like you'll pick something up. Like that's why the bowl thing kind of like tripped me out.
So the reincarnation.
We were in a good role too.
We are. So with the reincarnation, you were thinking that. So you have a collective of ideas or whatever you're saying.
Yeah.
What is your thought process on that?
On
Do you think the
reincarnation?
same thing? Yeah.
I think that I think that reincarnation is a really tricky thing for me because I'm like a big picture thinker. Definitely. So I like to think of the beginning and the end.
Okay.
And I also like to think of like all the stuff that's going to happen and try to think of any kind of possible outcome. Like that makes me sound really smart, and I'm not. I just like to think ahead and try to think of what my next thought is, or what I'm going to do next, or like plan what I'm going to do.
I'm a big planner too.
I'm a big planner.
I am too.
So reincarnation's a really tricky thing because it's just a thing that like happens, right? It's not like I don't know what's gonna happen when I die, so I don't really have a theory on death or.
What if you could?
I don't have a theory on reincarnation.
Little thought. What if you?
Not
could,
really. No.
What if you could
I just have hopes.
Transfer into a new body?
So we've talked about that too before. Is where you think that like you're gonna be a flash drive, get put into like a robot like body and still be Hayden. You'll still have your brain and conscious and thoughts.
See,
but you're gonna beep boop bop around for eternity.
Yeah. Or you just transfer to another body that you can live for another 150 years. Right?
You think you're gonna live 150 years
well,
in the body
no.
you have now?
Well, no.
Okay.
I think
I was about to say
130. No, I'm just kidding. I'd rather live till 50.
Yeah. Me too. I drink a lot of Monster.
Yeah, we do. We do unhealthy things
Partake
too.
it. Yeah. But he does a lot of healthy stuff. Way more than I do.
Well, you gotta weigh it. You know what I mean? What's healthy? What's not?
Yeah.
What is healthy?
Yeah, exactly. We think about like it's the good and bad decisions again. There's too many morals that get tangled up in the ethics of life.
Yeah.
But continue with your thought process on reincarnation.
So I think
the USB.
I would want to. Well, yeah.
Or USB.
USB, yeah. So
not really, but also.
So in an idea, that would be a good sense of thinking, right? Hopeful, right?
Yeah, that's hopeful. Yeah.
But I feel like.
But here's another thing you think. As a good Christian, wouldn't you want to die?
See, that's what I was about to say. Is I kind of see beauty in temporary. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I see beauty because I want to think
it's profound.
Well, I want to think that there's something better. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That gives me peace. Thinking of that, there's something better that gives me hope and makes me try. Do better things.
Yeah, you gotta try
what
harder. At least try what
we
you
just gotta do the best we can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
so it's funny that you say that there's beauty in temporary.
There is.
The Hindus and like all the different sects of Hinduism, like I'm not going to say Buddhism is a sect, but they have a lot of the same theories and thoughts.
They do.
And then there's a religion called like Jainism or something like it's like Jainism or something.
Jainism.
Yeah, and they basically have like a thought that like the body is pain. Like this sucks. Like life is meant to be hell.
Really?
Like this is where you suffer. This is where all the pain is. Because if you think about it, you have good and bad, but you feel the bad more than you do the good.
Well, that's a good point because...
But they think that with that dharma, that once you die, it's all over. Like it's so like you're in nirvana, like you're in euphoric, like you've made it. Like death is the reward at the end of life.
Well, that's a good thought because who doesn't have like a pain? Who doesn't have?
Yeah, no, everyone feels pain.
So
definitely.
That would be a good
whether it's emotional,
thought
mental,
process
or
is
physical.
that this is the worst life that we'll see, or this is the worst thing that we'll see, is because we do have all these pains.
Unless you go to hell, if you believe in hell, it gets way worse down there.
As we hear, you know what I mean.
So another thing that is crazy, like to think about. So we're talking about like all these like Eastern. What would it be? Eastern like religions. Is that Asia? Asia's in the East. Yeah, it'd be Eastern religions. The Christians, right? There's so many different types of Christianity too, like Baptist, Methodist, like Lutheran, whatever it is. They're all Christians, right? Because to be a Christian, that means to have faith in Christ and believe in Christ, right? Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
So I was raised LDS.
What's LDS?
Lutheran?
It's joy.
Oh.
No. Latter-day Saint. Mormon. I was Mormon.
Yeah,
oh, really?
Yeah. So I was raised Mormon.
Yeah, I know a lot of Mormons.
Is that like Catholic?
No. So what it is they believe...
I believe that's a fact.
They believe that Jesus came to America.
Okay.
And he taught the Native Americans about his ways.
Whoa.
The Latter-day Saints believe that there are three heavens. The celestial...
Different levels.
Terrestrial and the telestial. Or I might have got those mixed up, but there's three levels. There's levels to it.
There's levels on levels.
So the first level is like you've lived the best life you can. You got married in the temple. You're 100% like all about that LDS life. You're gonna go kick it with Brigham Young in the highest level of heaven. Second level is supposed to be like Earth. It's like pretty good, but it's not the best. You're like. You get root beer floats and shit, but you're not kicking it with Jesus.
But it ain't like the root beer floats. It's like off-brand.
It's like
great value.
It's like a Coke float.
Yeah. It's not near as good.
And then you have the telestial, which is like,
kind of like
dang, this is like worse, but it's not the worst.
Okay.
Because there's this place that the Mormons believe in heaven. It's called the outer darkness. That's where you go if you're really bad.
Kind of like dark matter.
But they don't think that you can't repent from any sin. Unless the only sin that you can't repent from is like if someone's like, "Hey, you heard about Jesus?" and he's like, "Nah, dude, I'm not about that Jesus." Like that's how they think. No. Yeah. If you decline the word and you don't live even like a half a good life, like that's the only sin that you can't recover from. Is like somebody acknowledging that there is a Jesus or a God, and you're like, nah, there's not.
That's how Baptist was.
Yeah. So that's what they think, and I think it's a really cool thought on the afterlife because if you're in the celestial kingdom, like if you're good enough, you can create your own universe, and you become a god over that universe. Like it's kind of like roller coaster tycoon religion. It's kind of cool, but the thing is, you have to be really good, and they have like I'm not gonna say there's like a bunch of rules because all religions have quote unquote rules right?
or guidelines, right?
So they follow the 10 Commandments, right? That the regular Christians do also. Thou shalt not blank 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 times 12.
Right.
No caffeine.
Yeah, so the word of wisdom is an extra set of rules that, like, this angel told Joseph Smith was like, yo, if you create a religion, bro, you gotta have more rules and make it way harder to be a part of this club.
Yeah.
And the angel was like, they can't chew tobacco, they can't gamble, they can't drink caffeine, they can't, and if you go to the temple, you have to wear special underwear from then on.
Really?
At a certain age, you have to wear garments. And it's basically like the garments are more of like a symbolism of your pureness, like your holiness. And then you have like there's like a bunch of different things too.
Really?
And
it's fascinating.
It is.
Him and his family were Mormon.
So growing up, church was 3 hours long.
Fuck that.
It'd be your first session, which is kind of like where everyone talks. Like you have speakers in the first, and then you do the sacrament, which is the bread and the water.
Okay.
Sing songs, and then you go to Sunday school. And then if you're a man or a woman, there's this thing called priesthood, right? Priesthood, and it's basically like healing powers. Like you become like you have a little bit of like power. Is what they think. So,
do you think that's legit?
I think it's like a cool concept. Like it's just different.
Like even like I was thinking about this. Even do you think like what's those fucking people that read your shit in your body and stuff?
Like
try to heal you,
like a shaman or whatever, like a medicine psychic. Okay,
that shit freaks me out. That's kind of like healing, right?
Yeah, so that's kind of like what it is. Like they put oil on their hands and they put their hands on the head and they pray. And that's like their healing. And I've seen that done so many times to like my parents, my family.
You were in temple?
I did go to the temple, yeah. I did baptisms for the dead.
Really?
So a little bit of, like the reincarnation, yeah, let me tell you this, okay? So this is getting way into like the Mormons. So the Mormons do this thing called the baptisms for the dead. What it is basically, so I have to dive in deeper to talk about this. Mormons are really big about genealogy. Do you know what genealogy is?
Yeah.
You know what genealogy is? So genealogy is
claim it was strange about the Indians, right?
No. Genealogy is basically family history. It's ancestry.
Oh, okay. Oh.
So my grandma, she traced a line all the way back to Adam and Eve. Like of family members.
Really?
I'm not kidding. I have all the paperwork in
in
a chest. I swear to God, her name is Lily Smith. She's a published author. She's got 3 books. She's in a book from like 1970. Yeah, look her up. She's in a book about who's who in Oklahoma, like top 100 people.
So that's because they only believe the world's like 3,000 years old, right?
No. Mm-mm.
Why is that? Why does she?
Because
how did they go
the baptisms for the dead.
Yeah.
Because Mormons believe there's nothing greater than like serving God and being like all about that Jesus.
Right.
Give me some of that juice is what they think. So they do family history to try to go back and trace like family members that might not have been baptized.
Oh.
In the Mormon church.
To
baptize for the dead.
Oh.
And here's
Kurt Cobain was baptized.
Yeah.
For the dead.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
So here's the crazy thing. Here's the crazy thing about it. Yeah, because he grew up in the Pacific Northwest. Yeah. Utah, California. Mormonism is huge. Like LDS is huge.
Baptized for that.
So, growing up, we had to go to the... if you were 12, you didn't have to go... you obviously had a choice, and you had to be righteous. Like, no masturbation, no stuff. Like, you had to be, like, pretty good kid. And at the time, like, most of us were 12. Like, we don't know.
You don't know.
And we grew up Mormon, so, like, we didn't really have a whole lot of life experience. Like, I watched Family Guy. And my parents, like, did coke whenever I was younger, but I had a pretty rough early childhood, but from 9 to 12, I was a pretty normal kid.
Yeah. I get that.
But anyway, so back to the baptisms for the dead. So they do the genealogy to try to trace family members that go all the way back to whether it's in Kenya, like, all over. I'm talking about all over.
Wow.
So your family basically submits names, and then you go to the temple when you're 12, and then you get baptized for, like, Manuel Gustavo Gusavev.
Okay.
And then you get baptized for that guy. So in heaven, or wherever he is, in the Mormon religion, right, wherever he is, he has the choice to be like, do you accept Jesus? But he doesn't know that, like, the spirit doesn't know that Jesus is real. Yet, like, doesn't know Jesus is alive.
Yeah.
He's just like, supposedly, like, you can say yes or no. If it's no, you go to outer darkness. If it's yes, you get to kick it at one of the heavens.
So outer darkness.
Yeah.
Is that like...
that's hell.
That's hell.
Yeah, that's like hell. Yeah. That's a little bit about the Mormon religion and thinking about the...
So you did those for people?
I did do that for people.
Yeah. That's fascinating, bro.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a different thought process on it all. But, so Dharma, like the thought that the vessel, like your body is just pain and death is actually heaven. Like that's your whole purpose in life is to die.
Right.
That's why a lot of them just stay.
We were born to die.
Stay in one like place and practice what they like. They're monks or
right
hermits or spiritual guides, because at one point with the thought process on the Buddhism and stuff like that, like meditating, being at one with yourself is also a sense of like really important and like really important. And
I think it is too.
I think for sure.
I think meditating is such a good.
You have to know yourself, in order to progress. Because only like you know your flaws. Like other people might know your flaws,
but not really.
But like other people don't really know how to fix your flaws. You have to be able to like sit down.
It's in your brain, and you have to calm your brain, bro.
Yeah, and your brain is like such a weird organ because it's like it controls you. The brain is just
100%, dude. That's so crazy because I was just thinking about that because any thought that you have that's negative, it's going to change your mood just like that into negative.
Yeah,
and that's why I think meditation you have to.
And you don't control your brain either. That's the weird part.
You can't. I think you can't.
No, some people can't, bro, because they have such a chemical imbalance.
No, I will say that. I will. Definitely
so like schizophrenics.
Yes.
Like severe schizophrenics. There's obviously a difference. Right. Severe bipolar. Severe depression. Like
that's legit, bro.
But like just me and you, like what we consider like normal people, I guess, like. We might be a little bit crazy or get sad sometimes, whatever it is. But I think that we can still control like our thought process. Like if I'm sad, I can find a way to try to be happy. Yeah. I mean, and if I can, there are days where I don't want to do anything and I just get out of bed. Well, and I go and do something.
I don't think it's like for me. I think that's what I try to do, but it's not always just like that I can do it. Like I'd still push through and do that shit because that's what I gotta fucking do. But I think it takes me a little time. If that shit still happens to everybody.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there are days like some days you do need to relax.
Talk to fucking anybody. There's days that I have anxiety to talk to people. 100%, bro.
Yeah.
But
I feel that
it's just overcoming that in the long run because it comes and it goes. You know what I mean?
It's the only issue is if it's kind of a permanent thing. If it happens like a lot, and then you might want to kind of look into getting checked out. Like,
yeah,
as far
true.
Like if it happens like every other day and you're like, man, I just have no drive. Like I don't know how to fix this. I've tried to do other things.
If you have no drive, but you can still do it. What does that mean?
But wouldn't you want to be a little bit happier about the thing that you're doing?
For sure, but
and that's where the chemical imbalance is.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. That makes sense.
Do you know anybody who medicates like for prescription drugs?
Like what do you mean, like
antidepressants?
I did.
Yeah, I did. I used to.
What were you taking?
Zoloft.
Like you did, like personally? Yeah. How'd that make you feel?
For what?
Did you feel happy?
Depression.
See, I have
It's alright.
I take one too.
Do you?
Yeah, 100%.
So there's a saying that like so there's a song that I like called by the Wombats. It's called Anti-D. It's about like antidepressants and like this girl that he was kind of like, or guy, I don't know if he's gay or straight, but like a lover that he was like, please allow me to be your antidepressant, right? So what he's saying in that is like, let me try to make you happier and like we can try to fix you. But so, like really, I don't think that that's a good way to look at it either.
No,
trying to fill the hole with something or someone. If you're depressed,
here's the deal. Here's the deal.
Focus inward.
So, I do take one. I take one every day.
Which one?
Is it for anxiety or for?
Yeah, it's for anxiety. What's it called? Fuck, I can't think of it.
I took Zoloft for a long time and trays it down.
Man, I can't even think of it. It's right there in my bag. I don't know. I'll let you know afterwards.
It's a pill.
It's a white pill. But
does it help?
Yeah. So that's what I was saying is, I think that I can control it with things that I do as far as like who I put myself around. That's why I put myself around like JR and you because that
positive people.
Yeah, 100%.
I would like to think
JR is one of the biggest things at work that helped me. I mean that sounds bad. I know homo. Yeah. But for real though, because you just gotta find that. And my wife, obviously, my wife at home, and you just gotta find that.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
You can't see him, but
you can't even see it. Yeah. I just pointed at it though.
Know your role.
Know your role. But no, I think it's just how you overcome it. I mean, you can. You can because
do y'all meditate at all?
I meditate
sometimes. I mean,
every day.
Yeah.
Really?
I don't think meditation's really like. I think that it's like important, like I said, but I don't think it's a thing where you just sit down in like an empty room. And
that's
just like.
That's where I don't think that is either. Yeah. I don't think that's meditation for me.
So what I do
meditation's different
every day is I wake up in the morning and I take a dump.
Okay.
And I take a long, like, I don't dump, obviously, for the whole time that I'm just sitting there.
You chilling.
I'm chilling,
Straight chilling, bro.
And sometimes I'm not on my phone. So the times that I'm not on my phone, I just think about my day, what I'm going to do, and how I'm going to try to be productive and proactive. And
really?
Yeah, and be, like, more efficient. And sometimes I'll even take it into the shower, and I'll be doing I'll be washing my hair, getting ready. And I'm just thinking, like, you need, like, washing my hair, and I'm like, I need to do this. Like, this is... You're gonna fucking kill it today, like fucking whatever it is.
No, I know.
Tell myself positive encouragement. I think that that's a form of meditation. That's positive.
100%
positive words.
Meditation is just it's perception.
Yeah. Do you meditate? Do you take?
I don't really meditate, but I do talk to my inner voice a lot.
Okay. Yeah.
Have conversations.
Me too. Yeah. Me too.
I don't think that makes you crazy either.
See, I don't know, bro. I'm fucking crazy.
Like if your inner voice talks back to you, you might have a problem.
Right.
Like as far as like you ask a question and it's like. Kill yourself. Like, yeah, that's a big problem. Yeah, go buy a shovel. Like, set it on fire.
Where'd I hide the body?
Like if you see a dog and you're like, that's a cute dog, and then the voice says, kill it. Like, that's an issue. That's an issue.
There's a study done where there's actually people who don't have an inner voice.
Yeah, and they just move. Like instincts.
But no, they're normal people. They're not weird.
They're not weird.
Act like normal people.
Yeah, so
they literally don't have a voice.
My issue with that is birds. Birds don't think, bro. They just do.
How do you know?
How do people react like that?
I don't know.
I don't think animals really think. I think they just react based on.
I think that's true too.
I don't know.
Like, and that's fair to say with humans too.
One way to think of
Well, because look at dogs.
Right.
When we hit them or spank them, they think sometimes it's loving because you're touching them, right? My form of meditation is. So I get up every morning. I'll take my apple cider vinegar. I'll take my vitamin B, C, and D. Y'all need to get on that shit. Vitamins for real. And then I'll go do my meditation.
That Vitalife.
And then I'll come to do my meditation here on my notebook, and I'll write.
Yeah. So Hayden, like one thing that I always like tell anybody about Hayden is like the definition of not routine, but like routine and results.
Yeah.
Like I'd say that's Hayden's motto for life: routine and results.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So he literally does this probably every morning. I would say, unless he's like got really big plans.
Morning.
Like,
because
what time do you wake up usually? Like on average, like 5.
5.
5 is a good average for you.
Yeah. And I'll listen to Tony Robbins. I don't know if you guys have heard of him.
I've heard of him. Yeah.
And then we'll sit there and do this breathing treatment, right? Like, and he'll sit there and he's, what do you feel? Like, how do you feel? What are you grateful for? What are 3 outcomes you want to see in your day to day, and what are things that bring you joy and set joy into others and see them smile and have their problems,
Yeah.
So that helps me. That helps me a lot, and
that's
also,
a form of meditation for you. Yeah.
That is for sure. Yeah. And then I'll also go straight into.
It's like if do you have your phone on you?
Yeah.
Google the definition of meditation.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. It's however you want to do it. I think it's a pretty important thing too.
And I think that makes you successful. I really do. I think that's your daily rituals. I think is what brings you success.
So how I like to kind of look at different perspectives, like I said, if you say like, obviously I don't think this because I know you and I know how you actually are, but if you say like I do it for myself to feel better, but you want to try to make other people feel happy, would you say that's selfish?
Yeah.
Yeah. You wouldn't say that's selfish?
No. Let me re-say that. I don't think so because I think that like if I was to do something to others and if I did something for you and that brought you joy, you getting joy out of that brings me joy. So I don't think so.
But are you doing that thing? Like, are you doing
but
that?
Does it matter?
So are you...
You talking about
No.
altruism?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you doing the thing to make yourself feel better or to actually help? Because that's a lot of people's, like, not complaint or concern with Christianity, but
that's so stupid.
like a lot of atheists think that.
That's so
right?
stupid, man.
So I know, but again, I like to be on the other side for conversations.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to
I believe humans are not altruistic.
You don't think so?
And,
you don't think they're selfish at nature?
No, people are selfish.
Selfish.
They are. You think they are?
Yeah.
You don't think that? Yeah.
When they do something for good, it's not being to be altruistic. And
it's for their own recognition,
or some kind of
other positive feedback from themselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you think that? Do you think
I don't think it's selfish.
You don't think it's selfish?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I think that you should feel good that you are giving other people good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure.
And
I would agree. I mean, I think that a lot of people, like they say, like I said, that's a lot of people's, like, atheists don't like Christianity because it's like, man, you're just selfish. Like, you're just doing this to make yourself feel better so you get into heaven.
Atheists, they believe in something, right? They have to.
No.
Yeah.
Some, like, they believe they're here because of science, and they die.
And then they get something.
So, here's an interesting thought, too, with atheism. So, they technically believe in reincarnation. Technically.
Right. That's what I was trying to say.
Technically. Because they believe you die, you
Right.
get put back into the grass, and then the cow eats you. Kind of. For science purposes, right?
But, yeah, they did.
Or your worm food, or your baguette food, or whatever. But you're basically being reincarnated into some sort of substance.
That isn't yourself.
That isn't yourself. If that's your thought process.
Can you imagine yourself dead? We can't.
Nobody can.
Nope. Because
that's why I'm not afraid of death. I'm afraid of, like, what I leave behind if I die.
I want,
like, my son, my girlfriend. Like, how would their life differ if I?
See, that's what I'm scared of.
Boom.
That's what I'm scared of.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of dying. Like, if I get hit in a car accident, knock on wood, or if I get like cancer or something like that, like, I'm not afraid of the actual death. I'm afraid of, like, my son not having me,
having a dad,
or I'm afraid of
that.
Like,
or
just all the different burdens that I might have after death or might cause. Like, there's a lot of different things.
Because death is so burdensome on people.
Yeah, it can be.
Which is so crazy.
Do you have a life insurance policy?
Through work.
Me too.
Yeah. But that's what's so crazy is we're here to die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So why is everybody so
afraid of it? If we all know that's the end point, right?
Exactly. That's what I mean.
Yeah. We all know that you're not going to make it out of here alive. Right. Life is another word for poison, and it slowly gets injected into you the moment you're born.
Yep. Don't take things too serious. You're not going to make it out alive. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's a weird way to think of it.
So, like, we all die. We all know that death is coming. Right. Whether or not there's an afterlife, it's kind of obviously up in the air because you don't. There's no way that we know. No. There's no way that you know.
But I think
and to say you know is a lie. You're a liar if you say you know, unless you've died before. But here's another thing, bro. It's awesome with death.
People have died.
So people have died
and came back to life. So
but
what do they
my cousin explained it to me and he's an atheist, but he's also studied a bunch of different religions.
My uncle's atheist, man.
He knows like 15 different languages. He's a super smart cat, like really smart guy. Ethan.
Remember Aaron? Not Aaron. What the fuck?
McCurley?
Yeah, McCurley. Yeah. He wasn't atheist, but he was also he's
super smart. Yeah,
he was super smart, and he thought about that side of things too, though.
So here's my cousin. How my cousin explained it when people die.
Okay.
Your brain is. We've talked about it like this whole time. Your brain is the weirdest thing ever created.
It is.
Your brain releases this chemical when you die, right? It just basically releases I forget what the chemical's called. I don't know if it's the same thing as serotonin or dopamine, but it's one.
DMT.
Is it DMT?
Yeah.
Oh, is it really?
Releases DMT when you die, and DMT. We talked about it. It's literally like a 12-minute high, but you feel like it's forever.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Imagine being asleep on that because your whole body is basically shut down.
Yeah.
And when you die, they say that your brain releases the DMT, and that's what creates the light heaven, seeing your grandma, whatever it is.
Whoa.
And that's what it is.
That's trippy.
So they don't really know because the brain, it's like shitting yourself when you die. It's just like an automatic thing.
Right.
That like, or peeing yourself, getting rid of all the waste. It's basically like exploding your brain full of the chemicals, getting rid of the waste.
Right.
And that waste is the DMT.
Yeah.
And that's what lets you see all the different things that you see when you die or whenever you're going into the light. And here's the thought process on heaven too, how we explained it.
Bro.
So they say like it feels forever. Your body is just releasing this insane amount of DMT that could be so long that it does feel like it lasts forever.
Yeah.
Really?
Right.
And that's some atheist viewpoint on heaven.
You basically would be dreaming.
Yeah.
Like,
forever.
So like when you sleep and you dream deep, like
that's the rest of your life.
Very small dose.
So and a lot of people think that that's what's happening in this life to them. They can't differ from the reality to like this. What heaven is.
So we could already be thinking this.
We could already be dead.
Yeah.
But this is simulation. We all know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so death is crazy.
Crazy.
We're gonna try to get our Instagrams up here, and we're gonna make social media for the page and stuff like that. So we want you to follow us. If
please like it,
subscribe.
We would love your support.
Love it, bro.
So check us out next week, next Wednesday, and good night.